Welcome to the illegal immigration topics, etc. channel. And today's topic, the Title 42 uplifting game, as if things will change. In a book called Propaganda, there's this book called Propaganda that was written about 4 generations ago. It's a very powerful book. And within the first, say, sentence or so, I'm just going to paraphrase something. It talks about how the intelligent manipulation of the masses is basically a type of necessity in a type of environment, in a type of overall type of environment, right? The intelligent manipulation of the masses, right? And this is no different on this topic. The thing with Title 42, right, which was supposed to be about putting brakes on the liability of personnel to come across the border because of C-19, to put the brakes on personnel that might have been seeking asylum, to put the brakes on that because of, hey, hold on for a second. Well, let's just hold off for a second, right? While C-19 was running ravage. But uh, uh, let me just read you about Title 42. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and specifically the U.S. Border Patrol, are supporting the Gov's response to C-19 virus. The subject is 42 U.S. Code Title 42, the Public Health and Welfare. Effective March the 21st, 2020 at 0001 hours, USBP will exercise authorities derived under U.S. Code 42, Section 265, suspension of entries and imports from designated places to prevent spread of communicable diseases. As laid out in the attached, it laid out in the attached basically document, and talks about how the authority of the Public Health Services Act has directed CBP to prohibit the introduction of certain persons into the United States who, due to the existence of C-19 in countries or places from which persons are traveling, create a serious danger or the introduction of such disease into the United States. Very simple, isn't it? The game is so ridiculous. Now, this was March the 21st, 2020. The uplift of the Title 42 was a couple of days ago. Today is May the 16th, 2023. So a couple of days ago, so that's basically almost 2 years. And you got numbers of political personnel and some entities in pro border type of personnel who know they are pro border individuals in pro border entities, organizations, etc., who is doing this because they know what's really going on. But this is what they're doing when they know quite enough people within the country don't even know what these games are going on. Yes, this is what they're doing. They're sitting there laughing because they know quite enough personnel within the country basically have no clue on these games that keep being played. And you had all this type of various types of main media, and they were sitting there, oh, pouting their lips out. oh, Title 42 is about to be uplifted and of the migrants and things like that, right? But let's just show you. Let me just show you a couple of things. Show you a couple of things. Let me show you a couple of things.
5 hours away from the end of the immigration policy known as Title 42. It's our top story right here on the 4. I'm Heather Myers.
I'm Carlo Cicetta. We have team coverage of the growing crisis.
Oh, sorry about that. Clicking the wrong button again. Clicking the wrong button. Let me try this again.
Crowds of
Oh, sorry, keeping the wrong button. Sorry about that. Let's try it again.
to seek asylum. CBS 8's Richard Allen is live in Tijuana with the confusion and frustration over the policies. Shannon Handy has more on the wait along the wall, but we start out with Jesse Pagan. Jesse?
Yeah, Carlo, Heather, the moment has come, right? Here we are, just a few hours away from the end of Title 42, and we are here at the wall where a lot of migrants are waiting, hoping for their chance. If you take a look, you can see a lot of them are just waiting right by the wall, some covered under tarps, some under trash bags, some with cardboard trying to take some shade and stay warm. Just a few minutes ago, we did some people, just baking in the heat. We did see a teenage girl who did faint. A crowd around her trying to help her, pour some water over her, and Border Patrol officers over here calling for an ambulance to get out here. That's the reality a lot of these people are facing right now as they wait for their chance and their hopes of claiming asylum. Of course, our coverage throughout the entire week, we've been out here showing you all kinds of stories of people, each one in the same situation now, but of course, with their own path and their own situation of how they got here and their own reasons. Shannon Handy, one of our reporters, has been out here for several days. Today, she's been talking with folks at the
Again, this is what the controllers are doing. Because they know it's ridiculous, the proverbial things that come out that these personnel's mouths. And they really believe what they're saying makes any sense at all. See, again, one of the questions is, can personnel in America, and I'm not talking about Susan come lately and Johnny come lately type personnel, I'm talking about people who've been over here for generations and generations and generations. Right? What about the personnel that are suffering from poverty? What about personnel who have lost businesses, that's lost their investments, inflation kicking their butt, et cetera, et cetera? Do they feel that they can run to the border and start talking about they seek asylum, right? Because they are afraid of, but the gov is not doing things for them, and they're afraid of lives and things like that. Do you think that's going to happen going across that border, or going to the southern border to get it to go into the southern border to go across into the northern border? You think that's going to happen? I mean, going south, right? And they're sitting there waiting at the southern border, waiting to cross that border, right? And getting freebies and stuff like that. And then saying the same old uh, generational uh, terminology that they are in fear of their lives, right? That they're seeking asylum. Do you think that's going to keep playing out? Of course not. See, this game is so ridiculously pathetic on that, because it's like the various parts of main media know what they're saying is nonsense, right? So there's no, again, poverty going on. There's no food insecurities going on within America. People are not suffering left and right. People are not losing their jobs, losing their businesses, etc. Trying to find out how to make a living, etc. Right? House prices still going up, gas prices still high. But at the same time, you got a person that going to the Durham border, coming from wherever, going to the northern border, is talking about, oh, they're trying to escape uh, 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 violence. Oh, they seek asylum. As if numbers of personnel in America don't have their own problems. Again, This is what these people are doing and laughing, because they say quite them those gullible personnel within various parts of America have no clue what we're doing. But let's continue. Let me show you another video. Let me show you another video.
This is a live look at the U.S.-Mexico border in El Paso, and all those people you see standing there, all of them, are waiting to cross the border when Title 42 ends at 11:59 tonight.
Yeah, for days, the number of migrants waiting to cross has just been growing, and the surge is compounding this humanitarian crisis there. We want to give you a closer look now at what's happening right now at the border. Gloria Pasmino is live in El Paso, Texas. And Gloria, what's the situation like on the ground?
Well, Lorenzo, Leslie, the question right now is just how long this surge is going to last. I want to show you exactly what we are witnessing here in El Paso, just behind the wall here behind me. You were just mentioning the hundreds of people that are waiting to cross. They are standing right behind where we are here. For several hours, we have been watching as Border Patrol officials arrive and take some of the migrants into custody. Just in the last few minutes, they loaded a bus full of people, including several young children. Many of them waved to us as they were driven away from here, likely headed to a detention center. People are waiting to come across and turn.
The games, the games, the games are pathetic. Again, can numbers of citizens in America. Again, I'm not talking about Susan come lately and Johnny come lately ones that is popped over here a generation or so. Or ones that even been over here extremely minute ones that have been over here for a few generations, but their demographic numbers were insignificant, ain't worth it even talking about. Not talking about that. Not gonna play that little silly game. Because overall, you're talking about the overall majority of people, right, demographically, would be more non historical demographics that's been in this country a long time. They'll be a first generation or second generation, maybe 2.5 generations, maybe. But for many, they're newcomers, a generation or two. However, numbers one are first generation. But again, who is going to pay for these freebies? That these personnel, they're not somewhat per se illegal per se, but they have a pseudo illegal immigration type of tactics within themselves. They go to the border, right? Oh, they're seeking asylum. They're seeking asylum. Why are you seeking asylum? Oh, violence. They're scared of lies and stuff like that. Now, how the heck are you going to sit there and find out truly about if they're lying or not? How you going to tell? Right? Oh, okay then. All right then. And then the next wave come through. What's going? Oh, we're seeking asylum. Why is that? Oh, violence. Oh, we're scared of our lives. Okay, okay. Next wave. What's going on? This is what's going on. And various types of political personnel ain't thinking about trying to get this resolved at all. Not happening. And many of them know it's not going to happen because this is done on purpose. This is done on purpose. Many of them is done on purpose, and they know it's done on purpose. On that, they know it's done on purpose. Now you're talking about one of the most powerful countries, various parts of the globe. And you think that the controllers can't stop a lot of this stuff going on? And remember, this not even talking about however uncalculable truly numbers of multi millions and millions and millions and millions and stuff like that over however many years there are in the US illegally border breaking. No one really knows where they're at. They're just somewhere, with their families or friends or whatever situations, demanding Spanish as a second language or demanding people sit there and accommodate them, get them an interpreter. Numbers of women, 6, 7 months pregnant, that come across that border. We're talking about the ones that's border breaking as well. Go to the hospital, get free care, pop out 2, 3, 4 kids. If they have another 1 or 2 kids already, who's paying for that? Taxpayers. What, you think this has been going on the last 2 years? Right? But they act like that Title 42, the uplifting of Title 42 is supposed to be some kind of, oh, okay, this is going to limit the number of people that's going to seek asylum. No, it's not. Title 42 was supposed to be doing that already between March 21st, 2020, up until a few days ago. Did that sit there and stop a gigantic amount of people going to the border talking about seeking political asylum, asylum because they feel like they're in fear of their lives? That didn't stop gigantic amount of record numbers of people going to the borders. And you think because Title 42 is going to now be up, or it has now been uplifted, that all of a sudden magically now that's going to now make it harder for people to claim asylum when you have already record breakers of people that's been claiming asylum already that was going on between the last couple of years under Title 42. You see the pathetic game of this. And this is done on purpose. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue on that. Give me one moment here. You know what? I'm just gonna play one last video.
It's a nightmare. This is not being blown out of proportion. Those of us who live on the border, this is not news. This is standard operating procedure. All day, every day. Pick a spot along the U.S.-Mexico border in Eagle Pass, Texas, and in a matter of minutes, you'll understand the gravity of the immigration situation. ¿De dónde es? Venezuela. Venezuela. Looks like single males. So what you got here is a mother and a father with their 3 children. Tuesday, Mark Garcia, a retired Border Patrol agent and longtime border resident, drove from place to place along the Rio Grande. And everywhere he stopped, migrants were arriving. We've been here twice, and we've seen 2 groups. A little bit bigger this time. Garcia, like so many who live here, is fed up with resources.
Mm, mm. Let me show you what numbers of people, unfortunately, even within the U.S., do the ones that have an agenda to pretend on something. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. Let me show you something. It's kind of funny in itself. Give me one moment here. This is what some numbers of personnel within the country do when it's obviously right in front. This is what they do. Yeah, I know it's funny, but this is what quite a number of people do. They have these agendas, and definitely you got the ones that do these pro open borders agendas, organizations, entities, numbers of political personnel, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, they know what they're doing, and they want more of this. They want more. It's an agenda or agendas for this. And so again, it is the most silliest, pathetic, but somewhat brilliant game that they know quite know people within this country don't even realize. For centuries, the 3 largest populations within the US was under what we would call Caucasian on that racial issue, on that racial category, what we would call black, American black, and what we would call, what we've been told in schools are what we call Native Americans. Those were the three large populations for a long time. That was it. That was it. There was no gigantic amount of what we would call Hispanics, whatever that's supposed to mean, because there's different versions of different Hispanics, right? That's another type of game in itself. He's like, which Hispanics you talking about? There are other Hispanics who can't stand other Hispanics, and there's some good Hispanics out there that don't like other numbers of Hispanics. But that's another game in itself, right? When we talk about numbers of Indians from India, that surely was not about 100 something years ago, for a few generations ago. That wouldn't even be in the conversation to even have a conversation about. When we talk about Asians, you was like, which Asians? Which Asians you talking about? Less than 100 darn years ago, that would have been a barely conversation, because it's like, which age you talking about? Because 100 years ago, which would have been what? 1923, right? That would have been before Vietnam War. That would have been before the Korean War. That would have been before World War I and World War II. So which Asians were around in 1923? You see this game plan, because the only sectionality of what you would call Asians, the numbers of them would be called Chinese, and they still wouldn't have been a gigantic amount. So when somebody says Asians, they just making some nonsensical bullcrap, bulldog statements. He's like, which Asians, right? So now the four populations now are still Caucasian, and you got another game itself. I don't want to go there on that. And you got second now are Hispanics, and third, you got American blacks that drop from two, and you got numbers of people in the in generalized Asians, which again there is a certain section of Asians that don't even like other Asians. So you see this game in itself. But I just kind of want to go over that one, because this is I see nothing, I hear nothing, I know nothing. There are people who know that this is going on, and they pretend just like this. And there's some people who don't know, that gullible, and they're not naive, which I have sympathy for that type of naiveness and stupidity, because it is a disgusting game in itself that continue to be played. But again, it's brilliant, right? Because they know what they want to do on that. So the uplifting of Title 42 supposedly means it meant nothing, or the uplifting Title 42 means nothing overall. Because again, the last 2 darn years, have there been less people seeking asylum? Has there been more? There has been more, especially for the last couple of years. There's been record numbers of people that have sought, and how many of them are in the U.S. by whatever sponsors, by whatever friends, by whatever organizations, by them the political personnel that want them here, by however numbers of people giving them free legal resources, freebies, et cetera, and they're sitting back laughing, right? Because this definitely something. Um, Give me one moment. No, that's not what I wanted. I click on the wrong darn button. But the point I'm getting at is that um, this system, it's a brilliant system, because again, they this system is brilliant, because again they know that many of the person are going to question, who's paying for all these freebies, who's paying for these people talking about they want a political, I mean they want asylum because they're trying to escape violence. And you like, numbers of people in America got their own problems, and not even talking about the racial issues that are still going on for generations, right? So you got people that's breaking pseudo immigration laws. Well, those are the ones that bring immigration laws every day that are laughing. And you got ones that are not directly breaking, but they're indirectly knowing they're breaking because they're laughing. They come up with the same terminology, and they get waved in. The ones who know that to get waved in and stuff like that. They know they've made it, and now they supposed to wait for a certain court dates, and how many of them don't show up. And you got personnel that try to play little switcher games. Well, still gigantic amount still show up. Oh, go to hell. There's still people who don't show up. What about them? See, that game in itself. So the Title 42 uh, tactic was an insulting us. Because again, the last couple of years, especially, have been record numbers of people who claimed asylum. But can numbers of people who've been here for generations, and especially say ones that are losing their jobs and still losing their jobs and losing businesses and things going on, racial racism, terror stuff still going on, and things like that within the country and stuff like that. Can people just run to the border and say, "Oh, we're tired of this," and "Oh, we want to get away from the violence that is happening," and other things? Of course not. Other countries be like, "No, you're not coming over here talking about no. You want to escape violence and seek seek asylum left and right, and who's going to pay for that? You think their citizens are going to sit there and say, "Oh, yeah, we got to be the saviors of other people. They can come on over here. We're going to use our taxpayers' money left and right to take from our mouths to help them out." Oh, it's a brilliant tactic. So I appreciate you taking time to listen. This is the illegal immigration topics channel.